Did you know that only 8% of people who make New Year resolutions actually manage to keep them? 8%. That is almost nothing. And do you know what the problem is? Most people are trying to do everything at once, piling on more goals, more discipline, more pressure. More. As if life were a competition to see who can squeeze more tasks into a day that only has 24 hours. But here at Christian Minimalism, we do things differently. We know that 2026 will not be better by accident. It will be better because you chose a few simple and transformative habits and practiced them with consistency until they became part of who you are. And the smartest Christian minimalists? They have already understood the message. Before continuing, if you are tired of this senseless rush, this constant pressure to accumulate more things that bring no peace at all, subscribe to this channel. Turn on the notification bell. Leave a like. Because here you will find a different way of living, lighter, deeper, more connected to what truly matters. And that is worth far more than any empty New Year resolution. Habit number 1, selective ignorance, or the art of not knowing everything. I will start with something that might seem strange, but is revolutionary: selective ignorance. Tim Ferriss coined this term a few years ago, and James Clear popularized it even more. The idea is simple, but powerful. You can know anything, but you cannot know everything. Your brain has limited space, so why are you filling it with news about celebrities you will never meet? Gossip about who is dating whom? 24 hours of news full of tragedy and drama that you cannot control? The Greek Stoics were already teaching this more than 2,000 years ago. Epictetus said, "If anyone can provoke you, realize that your mind is an accomplice to the provocation." In other words, you choose what enters your head. And the Bible is even clearer. In Philippians 4, verse 8, Paul writes, "Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things." Notice that he did not say, "Think about everything." He said, "Think about such things." It is a filter. There was a study by 2 Harvard psychologists in 1999 that shows this brilliantly. They asked volunteers to watch a video of people playing basketball and count how many passes the players in white shirts made. In the middle of the video, a gorilla enters the scene, beats its chest, and leaves. Half of the people did not see the gorilla. Half, because they were so focused on counting the passes that they completely ignored something obvious. This shows that our brain already practices selective ignorance all the time. The question is, are you choosing what to ignore, or are you letting the social media algorithm choose for you? I do not watch the news. I do not check weather forecasts. I do not know which artist is fighting with which other artist. And guess what? Life has not gotten worse. On the contrary, there is more time to read the Bible, more time to pray, more time for the people who really matter. When something really important happens, someone tells me. Simple as that. Jesus himself taught us this when he said in Matthew 6, verse 34, "Therefore do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own." He is not saying to be irresponsible. He is saying not to carry the weight of the entire world on your shoulders. You were not called for that. God did not give you grace to carry the news of the entire world. He gave you grace to live your day with purpose. Habit number 2, eating real food, because your body was not made to process plastic with artificial flavor. The minimalist diet. It is not about the trendy intermittent fasting. It is not about obsessively counting calories. It is not about eliminating carbohydrates or fat or whatever macronutrient is being demonized this week. It is about something revolutionary and at the same time ancestral. Eating real food. Real food is what your great-grandmother would recognize as food. Meat, vegetables, fruits, eggs, nuts. Things that come from the earth or from an animal, not from a factory. When you pick up a package of industrialized cookies and read the ingredients, you find 20 names you cannot even pronounce. Your body cannot pronounce them either, much less process them. Here is a fact that will surprise you. According to recent research on health and food consumption, most chronic diseases that afflict people today Type 2 diabetes, hypertension, obesity, heart problems are directly related to what we eat. And what are we eating? Ultra-processed products, full of sugar, sodium, and artificial fats that the body does not recognize as food. In 1 Corinthians 6, verses 19 and 20, Paul writes, "Do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit, who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own. Therefore, honor God with your bodies." Glorifying God with your body does not only mean not sinning sexually. It means taking care of the temple He gave you. And that includes the fuel you put in it. The philosophy of less but better applies perfectly here. Instead of filling your plate with 5 different types of mediocre food, put a generous portion of something really good. A quality steak, fresh vegetables seasoned with olive oil and herbs, seasonal fruit. You will feel more satisfied with less food because quality always surpasses quantity. Habit number 3, one goal at a time, because God did not call you to be a spiritual juggler. Here is something that goes against everything you hear out there. Goals are kind of a trap. Most people make a huge list of resolutions at the beginning of the year. I am going to lose weight. I am going to learn Spanish. I am going to read the entire Bible. I am going to organize the house. I am going to change jobs. I am going to whatever. And then February comes, and they have already given up on everything. Why? Because they tried to do everything at the same time. The smartest Christian minimalists have already discovered that the secret is not to have more goals. It is to have fewer. Actually, it is to have one. One important goal per quarter. 3 months focused on a single thing that will bring you closer to the life God dreamed for you. And when you finish those 3 months, you choose the next one. That is how you build a real life, not a pile of frustrated intentions. Think about King Solomon, the wisest man who ever lived. And he wrote in Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1, "There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens." Notice that he did not say, you need to do everything at the same time. There is a time for each thing. When you try to do everything together, you do nothing right. The difference between those who achieve and those who give up is not talent. It is focus. And focus means saying no to 100 good things so you can say yes to the one essential thing. Steve Jobs said this in a brilliant way. People think focus means saying yes to the thing you have got to focus on. But that is not what it means at all. It means saying no to the 100 other good ideas. You have to pick carefully, and here is a detail that most people ignore. When you focus on one thing only, you are not wasting time. You are going deep. Instead of being superficial in everything, you become excellent at something. And that, my friend, that puts you ahead of 90% of the people who are trying to do everything at the same time and do nothing right. Habit number 4, moving your body without becoming a slave to the gym. Realistic exercise routine. Here is a truth that the fitness industry does not want you to know. You do not need to work out 6 days a week, 1 hour a day to be healthy and fit. That is propaganda. It is marketing. It is people trying to sell you supplements, training programs, expensive clothes. The truth is that 2 to 3 times a week, 45 minutes each, doing compound exercises that work several muscles at the same time is more than enough for most people. The secret is not maximum intensity all the time. The secret is consistency. Better to do little and maintain for 5 years than to do a lot and give up in 3 months. And here is something that very few people talk about. Movement is different from exercise. You cannot go to the gym any day of the week and still move a lot. Take stairs instead of taking the elevator. Walk to the bakery instead of driving. Play with the kids at the park. Take care of the garden. Clean the house with energy. All of this is movement. And movement is life. The Bible speaks in 1 Corinthians 9, verse 27. "But I discipline my body and keep it under control, lest after preaching to others, I myself should be disqualified." Paul is talking about discipline, about not letting the body dictate the rules. But notice that he is not talking about torture. He is talking about self-control, about making the body work in your favor, not against you. The minimalist balance here is simple. Enough movement to keep the body healthy and strong, no more than that. Because you have other important things to do. You have a life to live. You have people to love. You have a calling to fulfill. Habit number 5. Freedom Fund, or how to stop being hostage to next month's salary. Let us talk about money. Specifically, let us talk about something that can completely change your life. Having 6 months to 1 year of expenses saved. This is what I call a freedom fund. Most people live paycheck to paycheck. If they lose their job tomorrow, they panic. They have no room for maneuver whatsoever, and then they get stuck. Stuck in a job they hate, stuck in a toxic relationship because they need the other person's income, stuck in a city they no longer want to live in, all because they have no financial reserve. The Freedom Fund changes this. When you have 6 months to 1 year of expenses saved, you have options. You can accept that job that pays less at first but has growth potential. You can take a few months to study or make a career transition. You can help a family member who is going through hardship. You can invest in an idea you believe in. Freedom. Proverbs 21 verse 20 says, "The wise store up choice food and olive oil, but fools gulp theirs down." Wise is the one who saves. Foolish is the one who spends everything. Simple as that. And there is nothing holy about being foolish with money. God gave you resources to manage well, not to squander. Habit number 6. No spend month. The reset you did not know you needed. Once a year, preferably in January, go an entire month without buying anything except food and basic hygiene items. No new clothes, new shoes, decoration, electronics, books, nothing. Only the essentials for survival. Does it sound radical? Maybe. But it is transformative. Because it forces you to live with what you already have. And guess what? You already have more than enough. The inconvenient truth is that most of us have closets full of clothes we do not wear, shelves full of books we have not read, drawers full of things we do not even remember buying. The no-spend month works as a reset. It takes you out of the autopilot of consumption and makes you question, why do I buy? Am I buying out of necessity or impulse? Am I trying to fill an emotional void with material things? Usually the answer is yes to the last question. Jesus was quite direct in Luke 12 verse 15. Watch out. Be on your guard against all kinds of greed. Life does not consist in an abundance of possessions. Life does not consist in the abundance of what you possess. Read that again. You are not what you possess. Your identity is not in your things. Your happiness does not depend on the next Apple launch or the new collection from your favorite brand. Since then, we do it every year. And every year, it is liberating. Because it reminds you that you do not need anything more to be happy. You already have everything you need. The rest is just distraction. Habit number 7. Creating instead of consuming, because you were made in the image of a creator God. The last habit, and perhaps the most important of all, is this: create something, anything. Write, draw, paint, cook, do crafts, plant a garden, record videos, compose music, build furniture, sew, whatever. But create. We live in a culture of rampant consumption. We consume news, we consume series, we consume social media, we consume products, we consume. And we are never satisfied. Because consumption does not fulfill. Consumption only leaves you wanting more. It is a vicious cycle. Creation, on the other hand, fulfills. When you create something, you are putting a piece of yourself into the world. You are exercising that divine part that exists in you. Because Genesis 1, verse 27 says, "So God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God, he created them." You were created in the image of a creator God. You were made to create. And here is something fascinating. When you are in the process of creation, you enter what psychologists call a flow state. It is when you are so immersed in what you are doing that you lose track of time, forget everything around you, become completely present. It is one of the most pleasurable states a human being can experience, and you access it by creating. One thing few people realize is that creating makes you a better person to be around. Because when you have a creative outlet, you process your emotions, thoughts, experiences better. You do not ruminate internally. You externalize productively. And here is a challenge. How much time did you spend today consuming? Scrolling through feeds, watching series, reading news, browsing the internet? Now tell me, how much time did you spend creating? If the answer is 0, it is time to change that. Choose something you have always wanted to do, but never did. And start this week. Do not wait for Monday. Do not wait for January. Start now. The big turnaround is in the small habits. So let us recap. 7 habits that smart Christian minimalists are already practicing to live better in 2026. First, selective ignorance, choosing what enters your mind. Second, eating real food, nourishing the temple. Third, one goal at a time, focus above all. Fourth, realistic movement, healthy body without slavery. Fifth, freedom fund, financial security that opens doors. Sixth, no spend month, consumption reset. Seventh, creating instead of consuming, expressing the image of God in you. These 7 habits will not turn your life upside down overnight. It is not magic. But if you take even 2 or 3 of these habits and practice them consistently over the next 12 months, at the end of 2026, you will look back and see that you have changed, and truly changed. Because real transformation does not come from big dramatic gestures. It comes from small choices repeated day after day until they become who you are. And here is an important detail. 2 Timothy 1 verse 7 reminds us, "For God gave us a spirit not of fear, but of power and love and self-control." You who are applying these habits will do better than most people around you. Not out of arrogance, but because most are doing the opposite. They are consuming everything, trying to do everything, spending everything, living on autopilot. And you have consciously chosen a different path, a narrower path, lighter, deeper. If you made it this far, leave a like on this video. Subscribe to the channel if you are not already subscribed. Because this content here goes against the tide of what everyone is doing, and that is precisely why it is so valuable. We are building a community of people who choose to live with purpose, not with haste, with presence, not with distraction, with faith, not with fear. And leave in the comments this phrase, less rush, more presence. Leave it down there if you liked this video and if you are willing to apply at least one of these habits starting today. 2026 can be the year of your big turnaround, not because you will conquer the world, but because you will conquer yourself. You will master your impulses. You will align your actions with your values. You will live with intentionality instead of reacting all the time. And that, my friend, that is true freedom, the freedom that Christ gave us. Because as it is written in Galatians 5 verse 1, it is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm then, and do not let yourselves be burdened again by a yoke of slavery. May God bless your journey. Until the next video.